Exactly, David. This is a big case. It's a big case on abortion rights, specifically on that drug Mifepristone, which has been the source of so much controversy. The FDA's approval of Mifepristone for use was challenged by a group of doctors. These are not doctors who treat pregnant women or who perform abortions at all. They had conscience objections. They were anti-abortion rights, pro-life in their lingo, doctors who objected to the approval of Mifepristone. They said that at some point, perhaps in some emergency room, they would find a woman who had complications from taking Mifepristone, and that would violate their conscience. What the Supreme Court said is that's not a real injury under the law. In order to bring a lawsuit, you have to have standing. That means you have to be deliberately affected by that law, not some conscience objection, especially since this law has exceptions for doctors who do not want to have anything to do with performing abortions. And so in a unanimous opinion, how often do you hear that from the Supreme Court, written by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, with a concurring opinion by Justice Thomas, but unanimous in the result, the Supreme Court says this kind of case brought essentially by activists rather than physicians who are treating this issue with this drug is not enough to get you into federal court and make a claim. It is essentially keeping the action in the courts limited to people who genuinely are impacted by this, so that someone who merely has an ideological or religious or conscience objection to what the government is doing can't just come into court and say, I'm injured because of that. You have to stop it. And so the bottom line, Mifepristone remains available as it has been for women, including in the most recent FDA action, which made it available to people without having to go to a doctor. During the pandemic, they did that. All of the controversy over this drug now at this point seems settled by this unanimous opinion by the Supreme Court.